UFC 322 takes place this weekend, and in this video, I'm going to be giving you my exact predictions for how I think every fight in the card is going to play out. So without further ado, let's get into the picks. As always, I like to look at my past week's performance to see what we can improve upon, and at UFC Vegas 111, we went 9-3. Pretty good on picks. We had Ricky Simón by decision. That was a back and forth fight, and honestly, watching it back, I probably still would have picked Ricky Simón. Barcelos is just a dog. Marco Tulio by decision. It's crazy because the entire week I was making a case for Christian Leroy Duncan to win, even to win by knockout. And then at the last second, before I made the video, I switched picks, went with Tulio. Horrible things. And then Ismail Bonfim, the only other wrong pick we had, the only reason he lost is because he had a horrible weight cut. He came into the fight with an injury, and then he just quits in round 2. He just keels over and quits. Not sure how I'm supposed to predict that in advance without seeing the weigh-ins. I'm recording this on Wednesday before the weigh-ins, which happened on Friday. I'm doing my best to give you as much info as possible, and Bonfim being hurt was just not on the radar. So picks went pretty okay, and as for the bets, we were up plus 0.98 units. We'll take it. Back-to-back weeks with profit. I'm pretty sure we're on a little streak now. Not the most profit, only plus 0.98 units, but we smacked on Jamal Emmers. We smacked on Joseph Morales inside the distance. We had a nice parlay with Daniel Marcos and Denise Gomes, which was free. We could have made infinite piles if we had Ricky Simón come through as well. The bets were pretty good. I'll take a unit on profit for a weird Apex card. Let's see how we do at UFC 322. First fight of the card is Viecheslav Borshchev taking on Matheus Camilo. The reason I'm framing this fight a polar bear in Texas is because this entire card is stacked top to bottom, and then they just have this random fight between two low-level MMA fighters, Viecheslav and Matheus Camilo. Not sure what it's doing on this card, but it should be a banger nonetheless. Viecheslav Borshchev, I'll keep this short and simple. He is 0-2 to the sub. He's got subpar jiu-jitsu. His takedown defense is 42%. Matheus Camilo, what do we know about him? He's going to go all in on takedowns. I know he gassed badly against Gabriel Green, but Gabriel Green at least has some jiu-jitsu chops of his own. He actually has some anti-wrestling. Viecheslav, it looks like if you just try to take him down, you'll be able to take him down. Matheus Camilo, his only losses are by submission. Viecheslav is not going to sub this man. Viecheslav has also looked like the ghost of Viecheslav in his recent fights. He's not throwing with lots of volume. He no longer has that KO power threat that he had when he first joined the UFC. Matheus Camilo, he's 0-1 in the UFC, but I'm making a lot of good cases for him. He's also 9 years younger, and he just looks to be the quicker striker. So even if he doesn't get takedowns, I'm not super convinced that he's going to lose a striking battle. So with all that being said, we're going to be going with Matheus Camilo to win the first fight of the night by submission. I think this is a pretty straightforward pick. Matheus Camilo, BJJ black belt, Viecheslav Borshchev, 0-2 to the sub. Seems like a no-brainer pick here. Next fight in the card is Baysangur Susurkaev taking on Eric McConico. Baysangur, he's 8-0 to the KO. He's a pressure striker. He's got decent grappling. On the other side, McConico, 0-3 to the KO. I hate that. He's also 1-1 in the UFC, and his only win was against Cody Brundage in a very strange fight. Barely throws with any volume. He's going to try to mix in takedowns, but they're probably not going to work against Susurkaev. One thing I don't like about Susurkaev is sometimes he is there to get hit. He does absorb a lot of strikes, which I don't like. Eric Nolan was wobbling this guy in the first round, and we didn't think Eric Nolan stood a chance against him. So with that logic, maybe you would take a shot on McConico, but I'm keeping this breakdown short. We're going with Baysangur Susurkaev by KO. I think he can land a body kick that can hurt McConico. I think he can land a big cross that can hurt McConico. And even if the striking isn't working, I think Susurkaev can take this to the mat like he did against Eric Nolan. That is his backup plan. And I think if he gets it there, he'll have a lot of grappling success as well. So yeah, Susurkaev should get another W in the UFC. Next fight on the card is Angela Hill taking on Fatima Kline. Fatima Kline, she's going to be the longer, taller fighter. She's going to be younger by 16 years. She actually is a potent finisher at the WMMA level, which is hard to find for women's mixed martial artists. When you see a women's mixed martial artist, usually you'll see like 10-0 to the decision, 1 KO, 1 sub. With Fatima Kline, she has multiple KOs, she's got sub wins and decision wins. She's a proven finisher. She's on a back-to-back KO winning streak inside the UFC against UFC level competition, and on short notice in her UFC debut, she did fairly well against Jasmine Jasudavicius. Jasmine, her whole game plan is takedowns, and she was struggling against Fatima Kline in that matchup. So Angela Hill here, she's going to have to get takedowns. I don't think she can do that. She's going to have to keep this standing for 3 rounds and throw more volume. She can possibly do that, but I think Fatima Kline is going to throw with the bigger shots. So Angela Hill, she's been winning these auntie performances lately. I can't say unk, she is a female. So auntie performances is what Angela Hill has been producing lately, but I think the buck stops here. I'm going with Fatima Kline to win this by decision. I don't think she's going to finish Angela Hill. Angela Hill is 5-0 to the KO. And Fatima Kline's submission threat is not super high level, I don't believe. I don't think she can actually find one against Angela Hill. So I'm going with Fatima Kline here by decision. Next fight on the card is Chepe Mariscal taking on Pat Sabatini. First off, this is a rematch. And in the first fight, Chepe Mariscal won by split decision. Now, what happened in that fight? Pat Sabatini had lots of grappling success. Chepe Mariscal was able to reverse positions at times. Chepe Mariscal got the nod because he was landing a little more damage on the ground than Sabatini. Now, Sabatini, he's a world-class grappler, world-class wrestler. The only times he's lost is basically by KO in the UFC. If he's not getting chinned early, Pat Sabatini, this is his fight to lose, in my opinion. I see everyone and their grandmas taking Chepe Mariscal this week, the same way I saw everyone and their grandmas taking Muslim Salikov last week, and look how that turned out. Salikov gets flatlined in round 1, as predicted. In this fight, I'm going against the grain here. Yes, Chepe can land takedowns, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hold Sabatini. Sabatini, he averages 4+ takedowns per fight himself. He's going to be the longer, taller fighter. And honestly, yes, he is a one-trick pony with his grappling. He has no striking, but Chepe Mariscal's striking is nothing to write home about either. So if this stays standing, yes, Chepe has a good chance to win, but I don't think it will stay standing. I think either guy will be going for takedowns. Chepe is going to go for them, as well as Sabatini. Chepe Mariscal's takedown accuracy, 39%. So I don't actually think he's going to have a lot of takedown success, even though Sabatini's takedown defense is 50%. Sabatini, on the other hand, averages 4+ takedowns per fight, 13-0 to the sub. Chepe's not subbing this guy, and I don't think he's KOing him on the feet or the ground. So for those reasons, I'm going against the sheep picks this week. I'm going with Pat Sabatini to win by decision. Not my best breakdown, but ultimately speaking, my tinfoil hat is ringing hard on this fight. Everyone's taking Chepe, and he's the underdog. Still, the line has not moved. Why is that? Well, that's because the sheep are on Chepe, and me, trying to be sharp, I'm taking Sabatini. Next fight on the card is Gerald Meerschaert taking on Kyle Daukaus. Kyle Daukaus, 11-0 to the sub. That should be the whole breakdown right there. GM3's only way to win this fight, in my opinion, is to find a sub, but 30% takedown accuracy, I don't think he's going to be able to take down Daukaus. He does have a 2-inch reach advantage, but I don't think he's going to be able to chin Daukaus. Daukaus' main issues so far in his MMA career is he does have a dusty chin, but I don't think Gerald Meerschaert has the power to capitalize on Daukaus' dusty chin. Maybe as a long shot, you can throw in GM3 by KO. I sincerely doubt that happens. Daukaus is going to be 2 inches taller. He's going to be 5 years younger. 82% takedown defense against GM3, who doesn't really shoot the best takedowns. And I think Daukaus will be the better striker. He just chinned Michel Pereira in round 1. So if he can do that, I think he can chin GM3. And I'm going with a sneaky method for Kyle to win here. I think GM3 is not going to like the striking to the point where he's going to shoot bad takedowns. And that's going to lead to Kyle Daukaus winning this fight by submission. I think Daukaus can get a nasty Darce choke on Gerald. I think he could potentially take Gerald's back if Gerald is not liking what he's seeing on the feet. I like Daukaus inside the distance here, ultimately speaking. But his sub-prop plus 270, I might be sprinkling that. I need maybe plus 600 to bet that. So Daukaus, I think he's going to get a Darce on GM3. And if not, I think he's just going to ground and pound his way to a finish after knocking him down on the feet. Next fight on the card is Malcolm Wellmaker taking on Cody Haddon. Yet another fight where the entire world is on one side, and I just don't think it's the right side. Malcolm Wellmaker opened up as an underdog in this matchup. 10-0 Malcolm Wellmaker opened as the underdog. Now, when that happens, I have to dig a little deeper. Why would the books make Malcolm Wellmaker an underdog in this matchup? Well, Cody Haddon is kind of a mirror matchup. I feel like he has similar power to Malcolm, and I think he's going to have better grappling and better takedowns than Malcolm. So if this stays standing, yes, Malcolm can clip Cody Haddon. That is possible, although Cody Haddon is 5-0 to the KO. If he goes to the ground, though, that's when it becomes a little tricky, because I think Cody Haddon's going to be the way better grappler. I think he's going to be the way better wrestler. If this stays standing and Malcolm's not landing a KO shot, I think Cody Haddon will low-key throw more volume on the feet. And since Cody Haddon's never been finished, I'm not sure how Malcolm Wellmaker is going to be the first guy to do so. Cody Haddon also has a fight against Steve Erceg, and that was his only loss in his career so far. A reason you might not take Cody Haddon is, yes, he has not fought in 12 months, but a reason you might not take Malcolm Wellmaker is this is his highest step up in competition to date. So for all those reasons, Cody Haddon and Malcolm on the feet, I think is kind of a wash. And if that's a wash and Cody Haddon is going to be better in the grappling, you know where I'm going with this one. First underdog pick of the card, we're going with Cody Haddon to win this by decision. I think he'll get the takedowns going. I think he'll be the better grappler. And even if he doesn't, I think he can hold his own on the feet against a guy like Wellmaker. So let's go with the Aussie in Haddon. Next fight on the card is Erin Blanchfield taking on Tracy Cortez. This is a prime example of locked in versus geeked. All right. Erin Blanchfield, I believe, is taking her career very, very seriously. Her only losses are what? Manon Fiorot, who would probably smoke Tracy Cortez, probably knock out Tracy Cortez. And the other loss, it's not coming to me at the moment. In this matchup, Erin Blanchfield, 3-inch reach advantage, going to throw with more volume on the feet, 80% takedown defense. Tracy Cortez is mainly a wrestler. So for Tracy to win this fight, she's going to need to keep it standing. All right. And even if she does that, Blanchfield might throw more volume. Tracy Cortez is going to need to get takedowns. Well, Erin Blanchfield has an 80% takedown defense, so I don't think that's going to work out. And even if she does, Blanchfield is a very, very dangerous submission threat off her back and on top on the ground. So I don't really know what Tracy Cortez's path to victory here, hoping that the judges just give it to her because she's good looking or something like that. So for all those reasons, it is a rematch. And Tracy Cortez did win the first fight by split, but if you watch that back, Blanchfield won that fight. So I'm going with Erin Blanchfield to win this by decision. One of my more easier picks on the card. I just think Blanchfield is better in every department of MMA. You know, the one thing about Blanchfield is her striking is not the best, but I don't think Cortez's striking is that much better or even better at all. So Blanchfield can win on the feet, on the ground, against the cage. Everywhere this goes, Blanchfield wins. Next fight on the card is Roman Kopylov taking on Gregory RoboCop Rodrigues. RoboCop Rodrigues in this matchup, it seems like he has a pretty straightforward path to victory. He's going to march forward, throw lots of volume, get in Roman's face, and try to initiate takedowns because that has been the one hole in Roman's game, is his takedown defense. Although he has an 87% takedown defense, it looks like whenever people try to relentlessly take him down, he falters. But in this one, I don't think RoboCop is actually going to do that. I know RoboCop did that against Christian Leroy Duncan. He just relentlessly went in for takedowns. But RoboCop gassed out in that fight. All right, the fight was low-key turning in CLD's favor at the very end. And in this one, Roman Kopylov, I think, has the power to match RoboCop. Roman Kopylov, he's going to be the southpaw in this matchup against Orthodox, so southpaws always have the sneaky striking. You got to look out for them as well. I think if it's a technical fight, Roman Kopylov is the better technical striker. RoboCop needs to make this fight dirty to win, And I think Roman Kopylov is too technical to allow that to happen. I think he's going to keep RoboCop at range. Their reaches are very similar. And I think, ultimately, he's going to land something big on RoboCop. We've seen him knocked out by lesser guys. Jordan Williams knocked out RoboCop. Bruno Ferreira knocked out RoboCop. I mean, this guy is chinny. He is not that durable. And when he fights someone with power that comes back at him, RoboCop usually falters. Now, Roman Kopylov, yes, he did just lose to Paulo Costa. And in that fight, I had Paulo Costa picked and bet as the Finn's Hammerlock, my weekly most confident underdog pick. Shout out to me. But the reason I did that was because it was a step up in comp for Roman. I thought it was too big. This is kind of even. This is kind of even for Roman. And I think he should go out there and win this fight. I got Roman Kopylov, another underdog pick. I have him to win by KO in round number 1. I think RoboCop is going to move forward and put himself in danger early, and Roman's either going to sink or swim, and I think he's going to swim and land a KO shot on Robo. Next fight on the card is Bo Nickal taking on Rodolfo Vieira. This fight seems pretty straightforward to break down. We got a wrestler in Bo Nickal taking on a jiu-jitsu practitioner in Rodolfo Vieira. The last time Bo Nickal fought someone that was a jiu-jitsu guy was Paul Craig. And what did Bo Nickal do? He didn't shoot for one takedown. Not one. Kept it standing for 3 rounds and won a very, very clean decision off of Paul Craig. Why can't Bo Nickal do the same thing here? Is Bo Nickal really going to shoot for takedowns against a jiu-jitsu guy to prove something? He just lost to RDR. He needs to win this fight. I think Bo Nickal is going to take the path of least resistance and just keep this standing for 3 rounds. And I think he's going to win a decision. I think it's that simple. If we're going to go over why to pick Bo, I mean, there's a laundry list why you should. 100% takedown defense, tall or longer fighter, younger by 7 years. He's going to be the better striker, and this is also a step down in comp. I don't know how you can possibly take Rodolfo Vieira. The only way I would take him is maybe a long shot by sub, but enough of the yap. Bo Nickal should win this fight, and I'm taking him by decision. That simple. Next fight on the card is Beneil Dariush taking on Benoit Saint-Denis. How does Benoit Saint-Denis win this fight? He's going to have to get takedowns, which I don't think they're going to work. Dariush has an 82% takedown defense and has done fairly well against most guys that try to take him down. Okay, but Benoit Saint-Denis is going to have to chin Dariush. Dariush has been knocked down once in his last 3 fights. He's a little chinny now. Can Benoit Saint-Denis chin Dariush? Well, I don't think he can chin him with his hands. He's going to have to throw a leg kick to the head to knock out Dariush. And I don't think he can do that because Dariush is going to be a southpaw in this matchup, as well as Benoit Saint-Denis. And when 2 southpaws fight each other, if you think about it, the body kick is not open. So Saint-Denis is not going to be throwing the head kick like we think he will. So if this is standing, I think Dariush can hold his own, okay? If this is going to the ground, I think Dariush can actually shoot takedowns on Saint-Denis himself and actually have lots of success. He had success against Moicano doing that, and Moicano dusted Benoit Saint-Denis in the grappling department. So if we're using MMA math, Dariush is the better MMA grappler than Moicano. Moicano is the better MMA grappler than BSD. Therefore, Dariush in this matchup, if he goes for takedowns, should have success. Dariush in this matchup, if he doesn't get chinned, which I don't think he will, should have success on the feet. So it's hard to take a 36-year-old over a 29-year-old in their prime, but we're going with Beneil Dariush to win this by decision. I mean, when I have enough reasons to take an underdog, I usually do so. Doesn't take much to convince me nowadays. Plus 165 is good enough for me. Saint-Denis, great win against Mauricio Rufy, but Dariush is not Mauricio Rufy. He's going to have way better takedown defense. So let's go with Beneil. Next fight on the card is Leon Edwards taking on Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates, you might want to take him here because he's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage. He throws with double the volume that Leon does. He has 1-shot KO power to potentially knock out Leon. And overall, for the narrative of the UFC, it would be better for Dana White and company if Prates wins this fight. He's simply the more entertaining, high-octane fighter. Leon Edwards is kind of over the hill at this point. They don't want to play with him anymore. Referring to that Toy Story meme. That's basically what this matchup is. They don't want Leon close to the title whatsoever, and the best way to get him out the rankings quick is to give him Carlos Prates. Well, I think this fight's going to go a lot similarly to Prates versus Ian Gary. Now, Leon Edwards is not as bouncy as Ian Gary. He doesn't throw with as much volume as Ian Gary. But one thing Leon Edwards does that Ian Gary also does is mix in takedowns. He mixes the martial arts. And against a guy like Prates, that's going to give him problems. I can see Prates maybe opening up early and Leon getting a takedown, and that's going to cause Prates to tone it down a little bit. He's going to not go all in like he usually does because he's going to be fearful of the takedown. I think Leon can even sub this man. I think Leon's jiu-jitsu is very slept on. I think he can get the back of Prates. I think he can hold it there. I think he can win a round simply by backpacking him. Leon's 7-0 to the KO. Never been knocked out, and I think that is Prates' only path to victory. I don't think Prates can win a savvy decision over Leon Edwards. This guy's the former champ. Multiple 5-round fights. You might say Leon's looked like a shell of himself recently, but think about this. Leon has only lost when he's been taken down. Only lost when he's been taken down. I looked at his whole resume. His only losses are when he got taken down. Is Prates going to take him down? No. The counterpoint would be, who's the best striker Leon Edwards has fought? The answer is Vicente Luque. Not a good answer. Prates is going to be the best striker by far that Leon has fought. But I just can't help myself. Another underdog is calling my name. I just think Prates is minus 200 because of recency bias. I can't help myself. I'm going for it. I'm doing it. Leon Edwards by decision. I think the only way Prates wins is by knockout, and I just simply can't see Prates landing a big shot like that on Leon. And if we're being honest, prior to the spinning back elbow on Jeff Neal was holding his own on the striking. Prates needs to land that big shot. I don't think he's going to land it in this one. Next fight on the card, we got Sean Brady taking on Michael Morales. Michael Morales, 89% takedown defense. Do I have to say more? The only way Sean Brady wins this is if he has takedown success. He does average 4+ a fight, but if he doesn't get takedowns going, he's going to be cooked. Michael Morales, 7-inch reach advantage, 3-inch height advantage. He's going to be 6 years younger. He throws with way more volume on the feet. He throws with lots more power. This man is undefeated, and we're getting him at underdog odds. Your counterpoint might be, okay, have we seen Michael Morales tested it in the takedown department? Well, Gilbert Burns did get a takedown on him, but Morales got up fairly easily. The way Morales stands makes it hard to just take him down. All right, I'm going to explain this to you really quick. Like, he has such a wide stance that it's going to be nearly impossible for Sean Brady to have relentless takedown success on him. And if he doesn't, Michael Morales should have a field day. Honestly, I feel like he's fought a similar grappler in Jake Matheus and dusted him and made it look easy. Not saying, Sean Brady is Jake Matheus, but the point is, we've seen him tested, and this is finally his comeuppance. It's time for Michael Morales to win by decision. Yes, another underdog pick, Michael Morales. I picked him in every single fight he's fought, and he hasn't let me down yet, and we're actually getting him at underdog odds for the first time in his career. So, don't mind if I do. And the co-main event, we got Valentina Shevchenko taking on Weili Zhang. Okay, this is kind of a mirror matchup, but there are a couple factors that separate them. I think they're both well-rounded. I think they're both good strikers. I think they both can mix in takedowns well. I think they both have good grappling. So right there off the bat, you're getting plus money for Weili Zhang. Everything else checks out. You might just take Weili Zhang. But Weili Zhang moving up a weight class. Valentina Shevchenko has fought at bantamweight before. Valentina is going to be way bigger. She's going to be way taller, way longer. And the only way Weili Zhang can win this, I think, is if she just makes her game plan takedowns. I mean, we have seen Shevchenko struggle against people that do that, like Talia Santos nearly submitted her. She got taken down and subbed by Alexa Grasso, although that was on a weird spinning attack. And she also got taken down and controlled by Manon Fiorot. So if those fighters are doing it, I don't doubt that Weili Zhang has the ability to do so. But I think Valentina can even get her takedowns of her own. I think Valentina can shoot for them nice and early. I think Valentina will be the slightly better striker. I don't know. This just seems very close. Usually when fights are very close, you pick the underdog, but I just think the size of Valentina is going to be what makes the big difference here. I don't think Weili Zhang's power on the feet is going to translate to flyweight. So for those reasons, give me Valentina Shevchenko to retain the title. I feel like a lot of people have just been disrespecting her lately. She was an underdog against Manon Fiorot. She was an underdog against Alexa Grasso in the rematch. This is where Valentina Shevchenko proves to the MMA world she is the female GOAT, right behind Amanda Nunes, in my opinion. I don't know really how Weili Zhang wins other than relentless takedowns, and I just don't envision her having that much success doing that. And the main event of the evening, Jack Della Maddalena taking on Islam Makhachev. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of reasons to be taking Jack Della Maddalena here. He's got a 3-inch reach advantage, he throws with triple the volume on the feet, and he fought Belal for the title. And Bilal's game plan is take you down. Now, JDM defended 6 of the 9 takedown attempts that Belal shot for. Belal should have kept shooting. That's what I think. Islam is not going to just stop shooting takedowns and entertain the striking. He did do that against Dustin Poirier, but that's Dustin Poirier. This is different. Islam needs to win this fight. Islam has insane finishing ability compared to Belal. If Islam gets JDM in similar spots that Belal did, Islam is going to find the finish, whether it be a ground and pound, whether it be a submission. We've seen JDM in horrible spots in grappling before. He got taken down 7 times by Gilbert Burns, let him have his back as well. Got taken down 3 times by Basil Fez, and he nearly got arm triangled by Angelusa on the Contender Series. As for Islam, yes, he's been knocked out. Congrats. Ever since then, he's looked basically invincible, I'm not going to lie. The only reason I wouldn't take Islam is because he's moving up a weight class. This is JDM's natural weight class. JDM is going to be a little taller, a little longer. And if Islam's takedowns don't work, JDM is probably the better striker. But I do think Islam's takedowns will work. And I do think he'll be a better finisher than Belal. So I'm going with Islam Makhachev and new for the welterweight title. His revenge for Belal. I think that's an added motivation here as well for Islam. Now, for the overall narrative of the UFC, it would be way better if JDM won this fight because there's infinite great matchups for him at welterweight. And if Islam wins, he's going to probably, I don't even know, maybe vacate, go back down to lightweight to fight Ilya. There's a lot of weird things that can happen if Islam wins. Plus, if he beats JDM, he's going to probably smoke any other welterweight contender, and it won't be that interesting. So, I don't know. It's an interesting fight. I just ever so slightly think Islam finishes JDM. And my most confident takes of the card, if you've been paying attention, these have been slapping at an astronomical rate. That wasn't a word, but we're going to go with it. Let's get into it. Here we go. Baysangur Susurkaev money line. He should knock out McConico, and he should make it look easy. Fatima Kline moneyline. She should take down Angela Hill. She should be the better striker. She should make it look easy. Kyle Daukaus moneyline. I think he can knock out Meerschaert. I think he can submit him. He should also make it look easy. Erin Blanchfield moneyline. Now, I'm not sure if she's actually dating Fatima Kline or if they have like a really good friendship going, but they are connected somehow. I don't know how, but I don't know how Tracy Cortez wins. So, yeah, there's that. Nickal moneyline. This is like a layup matchup for him in theory. He can win standing. He can win if he takes it down. So, loving all these people. And my sneaky takes. This is basically a list of every underdog that I've picked in this video. And, yeah. I'm pretty confident these guys win. Let's go into it one by one. Cody Haddon moneyline. This is simply going against the public sheep. Everyone's on Malcolm Wellmaker by KO. I think Haddon is just a better MMA fighter overall. So there's that. Roman Kopylov moneyline. I think he's the better technical striker than RoboCop, and I think RoboCop can only really win if he shoots for takedowns early and often, and I don't think he's going to do that, or he's not going to have the success we think he will. So, Roman as a dog. Beneil Dariush moneyline. Listen, I don't think BSD's leg kick spam is going to work. I don't think BSD's takedowns are going to work. I think Beneil can even shoot for takedowns of his own, so a lot of paths to victory for the 36-year-old. Leon Edwards moneyline. Now, as I look at this list, it's starting to look like a list of unks. I am getting a little fearful of that. But, yeah, I think Leon Edwards is just a better MMA fighter. Never been knocked out. He's going to have grappling success if he chooses to do so. More paths to victory for Leon. Decision, sub, KO, you name it. Michael Morales moneyline. I don't know why he's the underdog. I get Sean Brady has great grappling, and he does it early and often, and he might not even allow striking to take place, but Morales' jiu-jitsu game is not that bad, all right? And Morales, his wide stance, like I tried to visually explain, is going to be hard for Sean Brady to get a takedown on. So, loving these dogs. Thank you for watching the video. Let me know in the comments who your favorite underdog of the card is. This card is chock full of them. So I need to know who is your favorite. And if they win, I'll shout you out in the next video. With that being said, leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all the good things to make this channel grow. I'm putting lots of effort into every one of these videos for you guys. I'm getting it out a little late because I'm putting in extra effort. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and let's make some money, and let's have some fun on this crazy card.